Hello everyone, Chris here, Part 66 consultant. We are here for another episode of visiting friends and finding out about their lives. On today's episode, we're going to talk with Alex. Alex is a friend of mine, a fellow aircraft engineer, and he's in a unique situation where his son has followed in his footsteps, and we today we're going to concentrate the on the young next generation coming up.
So thank you, Chris. My son name is Hugo, and he when he finished the high school, he wasn't sure what to do, and about he had this gap year for a year, and he decided now he's turning 20, and then he decided to become a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer. Of course, it was not that easy. I had to obviously push him a little bit to focus on something which is a good trade or good career path. So in the end, he decided he's going to do this. The reasons he said because probably I can help him a bit more with my knowledge, and he thought that's a good idea.
Okay, so is he like most kids taking full advantage, saying, "Oh, my dad's I've got all the knowledge, I've got all the help."
No. Fortunately and unfortunately not. He's not obviously have to move a different. He's in Brisbane now, different city, to do his studies, and even to do his studies, it was very difficult because we tried to find him a course, and all courses were full. Last minute decision, right, in October. So we tried to find a course starts in January, and it was in October, and then a cyclone hit Cairns, so the school was full, and we couldn't find accommodation in Cairns, and I used to be an instructor and a student in this aviation school, and I called them up and I spoke to someone, and they said, not because I used to work there, but I kept in touch with them, and I said, "What's happening? How come there is no seat for the course? Everyone wants to be an aircraft engineer." And they said, "Oh no, we don't have, but we have the mechanical and the structural course." So I said, "That's great, fantastic." And then I told Hugo. So I packed him up, and I drove him up to Brisbane. And since then, he's doing everything by himself, meaning I never supported him financially. Of course, sort of once. He found a job for himself, accommodation. He's working on the weekends. Now the school changed. I understand kind of, because people, the young people, they need to support themselves, so they can't just go to school and rely on parents. So now they manage to do a 4 day school plan. So unless you have an exam on Friday, you don't have to go on Fridays.
So that gives them opportunities to
work on a weekend. Exactly. So let's say then it means you can do Thursday night, Saturday night, or whatever. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even Sunday. So 3-4 days you can find work. So he finds work at night shift. So he's doing it very hard. He works like 3-4 days. So even he works on Sunday night. So he finishes in Monday morning, and he goes straight to the school.
Wow.
And he sits there until, and and then he goes home. So his first big sleep is on Monday after school. Yes.
I
Well,
remember.
that
I
money.
remember years and years ago. I did my modules. I went to college in a college called Brunel in Bristol, Brunel Technical College, and I had to work on Friday. I finished at 5 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock, I was in this gyros kebab shop till 2 a.m. There
Yes.
was there was there was two pubs within 50 meters of this kebab shop. So at 11 o'clock at night, this thing was just absolutely. It was so busy. We used to get through a whole gyros, in like from 11 to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And I did Friday night, and then went back, slept a bit on Saturday, and went on Saturday till at 2 p.m. We opened the shop until 1 a.m. And then on Sunday I used to go as well for a half a day from
Yeah.
2 p.m. till 9 o'clock in the evening,
Yes.
before I had to be back at college at 9 a.m. on the Monday. So um, it makes you appreciate. Look, money doesn't grow on trees, and if it's your money, you're more careful with it.
Yeah. Oh, yes. He's always planning it. Okay, I have to spend this much, not enough money for that and this. So yeah, so he's managing it, manages it for himself. So I'm
That's
pretty
good.
proud of him. Yeah, it's good to um, uh, get into the habit, how not to spend your money.
Mm.
And yeah, so now when he finishes the course in end of November this month, then he stay in Brizzy just for another month, maybe just early Jan or late December, just to work, and then he will come back in December or January, and he will start his apprenticeship with the same airline where I work,
Mm.
because we have an apprenticeship program, and yeah, so it will be
Excellent.
interesting. We won't be in the same location. He will be in a hangar, obviously, in the heavy maintenance, but I work online. But yeah,
That's
so
good. So
interesting.
just to help, because this is going worldwide. Just want to touch a bit on the EASA system versus the CASA system. So it seems the EASA system is you go and take the modules. That's your theory part. You take some practical OJT, and you get a basic license without a type, and then you start working, collect your experience, and eventually get a type course and get a type on the license. In Australia, it seems that the modules and the OJT isn't enough. They want extra qualifications. They want extra, what do you call them? There's extra hoops to
Module.
jump through.
Yes,
Yeah, apart from the 15, 17 modules you have to take, you need to
yes,
do some other assessments. Since
yes.
you've been in the training business, please let us know what the main differences between the EASA system and the CASA system.
I think with CASA, you really um, have to do a diploma level, and what they do now is CASA came up with an idea, which I think it's wrong, that created different level of studies, which means back in the days or even now, if you do a type course or any study, 75% is the pass rate, right? So 75%, very good. If you do your basic studies, 75%, it means that module will count towards your license. So you can be a licensed person. However, CASA came up with the idea. I'm not sure where is it coming from. I don't want to stipulate here why and why not. But they came up with this idea. Let's make it only 50% the pass rate. So there are students, then they go for the exam. This is how I find out. They go for the exam and they came back to the classroom and I asked them, so how did you go? Did you pass? And they said, yes, I got the 51%. And I told them that's a fail, that's not a pass. And they said, no, if we pass 50%, and it's true, if we pass 50%, then we can also get a license like an AME, but you will be AME forever, rest of your
Now,
life.
I'm just going to interject here because in the ASA world, an AME is an aircraft maintenance engineer. Yeah,
Yes.
that means he's authorized to sign the CRS. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
just for the people that are watching this, because in Australia we have this thing called a LAME, which is a licensed
License.
aircraft maintenance engineer.
Yes.
He's also authorized to sign a CRS. So,
Yeah.
whereas an AME in Australia is not licensed, which means he's not authorized. So
Yeah.
this is where the discrepancy comes.
Yes. And I think it's my suggestion also, like to my son or to anyone who wants to do it. I think you have to ignore, if you want to achieve, or in Australia, you want to be a LAME, a licensed aircraft maintenance engineer, so you can sign the CRS, forget about the 50%. Yeah. I always used to say, just imagine yourself, you're standing waving to an aircraft, is pushed back, is ready to go, and you're holding all these nuts and bolts in your hand, and you're like, this is the other 50%, you know? So that's not good enough, right? So just go for a 75%, make sure you have that, and then that will count towards your studies. However, you still have to do some diploma work, so you have to have a diploma as a diploma course kind of thing.
So this is under the Australian qualification standards or whatever.
Standard, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So you have to do the a diploma. It's just an extra module. Basically, you have to write essays, and I know you have to write essays in ESA as well. Not talk about the module 10 or the module 7. You have to write an environmental essay or whatnot. I don't know how they call it now. So once that's done and you fill out your OGT book, and if you find an organization, let's say you studied with one particular organization, they will issue you a certificate. You completed your practical training, which will take a long time because there's a lot of tasks in there in the book, and some tasks is very difficult to get involved with. Depends who you work for, right? And then you have to lodge your application to CASA. Then you get an AME license, and depends who you work for again. Hopefully, they will send you for an aircraft type course, and then once you get that, and then you have to sit through a quality board. Have to have a meeting with quality, because the quality department will give you the authorization to able to sign an aircraft. So the airline, the quality department.
Yeah, I likened it once in one of my webinars to a you travel to another country. You're a taxi driver. You have a driving license, and you can drive a car, but this taxi company you're going to work for has its own not qualification, its own rules and regulations. You're driving their cars, so they want to approve you. Yeah. So the regulation is, okay, you've got a driving license which is valid in your own country, but we want you to have our driving license. You're in our country now, so you have to go through the hoops and conform to the requirements of this taxi company. It's the same. It's the same when you have an aircraft engineer's license in one country and you travel to another country. Yes, you're qualified. Yes, you're qualified even with a type rating, but you have to conform with the laws of this country. And then with the laws and regulations of the actual 145 that you'll be working for as well. So it's two exams, really. One for the legislation part to convert the license, and one for this board exam to be able to overwhelmingly show the quality people that you are capable of following their MOE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'd like to add one more thing. That's just a suggestion. Sometimes you don't have a choice, but if maybe if you find a smaller organization, not an airline, maybe it's better. Maybe I said better for you to do your apprenticeship and fill out your OGT. Why is that? The reason why, because bigger airlines, they have a structured apprenticeship program. Okay,
you can't deviate from it.
Can't deviate. When they say my 6 months wheel shop, I'm just exaggerating. Then 6 months wheel shop. Oh, but what about I need something else for my OGT book? No. But if you work for a smaller organization, maybe or the mind is a bit flexible, it doesn't have to be too small or whatever, then we'll be like a competency based, like competency based. I mean, you can fill it out much quicker, if you
So Monday you're in the brake shop, Tuesday you're in the composite shop,
yeah,
Wednesday
you can
on
do
the
it.
line.
Or you just work in the brake shop and then there will be you in a brake shop, right? And then there will be a landing gear replacement. It's not, let's say in your airline, it's not every day, maybe once a year or every, okay, let's do it. Then stop the brake shop, who cares? Let's go, because they are allowed to do it. Maybe bigger airlines, do you know a brake shop that time and there's a landing gear replacement, you need it for your OGT? Too bad. Sorry, you have to wait for the next one.
Yeah, that's one of the definitely an advantage when you're working for a smaller company, but smaller companies tend to be more from the experience we've seen in general aviation in Australia. It's general aviation are the smaller companies, the smaller airlines that have fewer aircraft, turboprops, or not so many aircraft in the fleet, whereas in Europe, other countries, you can have a sizable companies that are MROs that are not airlines, but they have the flexibility there because I think, personally, I think some of the MROs, some of the company directors have seen what a dire situation we're in worldwide, that they even have to bend the rules of this rigidity, 6 months wheel shop, because if they don't get them out quick enough and give them that flexibility to allow them to fill their book, the situation's going to get even worse. That's my opinion on it. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes, 100%. I agree. I find it with bigger airlines, even with training or some other stuff as well, that they're not flexible at all. So they need to think a bit different, make it easier or more sensible sometimes, to change the process, because there's nothing wrong with changing process, or just try something else, and especially when it helps you to finish quicker. But if you think about it, unfortunately, imagine if you have a few students who are pretty good. After a year, you basically, if you have an orderage or apprentice, maybe they've been a mechanic, car mechanic, and they just changed, they finished the basic studies. There's so many cases like that. I even know guys who've been a car mechanic or truck mechanic, and they migrated over to aviation, and they have a hand skill. They understand nuts and bolts pretty well. So these guys, they spend a year. They basically familiarize themselves with everything, how things work, and they can work as a valuable AME. Basically. But obviously is a much cheaper labor. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Good. Well, we've digressed a bit. We were concentrating on Hugo, and we've moved away.
Yes.
And
Yes, I know.
that's all right. My fault. But let's go back to Hugo and how do you have conversations with him about how it's going to work out, where you are, and when he joins the company as an apprentice? And do you hear about his aspirations and what he wants? Is he what's his expectations and things?
Well, he's kind of he doesn't know what to expect really, to be honest. And I don't know. I don't know how the apprenticeship program goes. I've been down there in my airline. That, as I said, they work in a hangar, obviously, and it's a separate area. So I know a few people from there, but where I work at the line, we have apprentices who've been through the whole program, and they have very good feedback uh, about the apprenticeship program, and I find that it still comes down to the individual how they achieve the exams, are they all done or not,
How much they put in?
how much they put in, that's how much you're gonna get out. So I keep telling this Hugo, and I told him, I said it's fine. He's working, and there are the exam, but there are the exams that's more important, yeah, at the moment. So yeah, he thinks it's going to be good. Yeah, he knows I'm not going to be around. Uh, but of course,
Well, he's not a baby. He's living his life.
of course, of course.
Yeah.
So, he's very happy. He didn't. I don't think he. Oh, I don't know. I don't actually know what he told, but I didn't. It's not one of those. I have to say, not one of those father and son career paths. When my dad got a bakery, the mom a baker. My grandfather was a baker. My grandfather had he started the bakery, so I'm a baker as well. No,
So he's just first generation.
yeah, but still, I didn't tell him, no, you have to do this. You be an aircraft maintenance engineer. No, he decided. How he made his decision, I don't know, in his head. I didn't ask him. It's his decision, and then I just supported him whatever I can, and I will support him once he's doing his apprenticeship. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent. And so when you said mid November, he finishes what he's doing now, the course he's doing.
Yes, end of November, and on the 21st, they have an open day. So he will come to the hangar on the 21st, and they show him around, all of them.
But he already has a spot. It's just to show them where they're going to be for the
He
next
starts
20 years.
on 28th of January. Yes.
Okay.
And it starts, yes.
Excellent. Fantastic.
Yeah, so he's very excited.
Well, I bet you're a bit excited as well that that you got one kid off your hands and on his way, and it's happening.
Yeah.
I think training nowadays is a luxury. It always used to impress me when we lived in Germany, because the talk was everybody you spoke to that went to university is free. And I couldn't comprehend that, because coming from Cyprus, I heard lots of people going to Germany, going to England to study, and they had to pay thousands in university fees. And the Germans were like, "Oh yeah, it's free. How can it be free?" And their reasoning was simple, because education should be free. Nobody should pay to be educated. It's like it's the responsibility of society,
Yeah.
to educate the world, to educate their population. And suddenly we've pushed and pushed our way into making aircraft engineers' lives, and it's become a business where training in this field is so expensive and so untenable that you can only do it via an apprenticeship spot or to do self-study and go and find another job somewhere and go and do the modules at night whenever you can, weekends, whatever, and do the exams, and then go and beg somebody to give you a spot in a hangar to do the practical. And it's like, it's morally wrong, I think.
Yeah. Yes, unfortunately, I agree with you. And it is very, very difficult to get in. There were few hundred applicants for these, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe 15 positions or something like that. I mean, of course, when you take on 15 apprentices, it's a lot of responsibility for any company. So, but there should have been a better practice in this, because I can see that there were like times when there was nothing, hardly any apprentices, and then you realize that you don't have any backup. The industry is dying. They don't have people to do this job. It's kind of okay here in Australia, but yeah. Yeah, they need new engineers, so they should train them more, and then not just to charge them arms and legs. It's so expensive, and where he studied, the school has got subsidy from the government after each student, and that's why the course relatively cheap for a domestic student. For an international student, forget it, but it's a decent amount of money, like any course for an international here.
Yeah, and from your experience where you work on the line, you said there's apprentices. Do you know any numbers of how many, percent-wise, how many will start and how many will finish this apprenticeship?
Ooh, good question.
Because we don't want to give the impression to people that it's a picnic. It's not a picnic. It's hard work.
No, it's hard work. But I'm pretty sure that it's definitely more than 75%, 80%. So they don't leave. So in our company, it's kind of okay, because so what happens to you when you finish your apprenticeship with a company or with an airline? That is step 2. You'd like to get a AME position, aircraft maintenance engineer position. All right. So depends how big is your airline. My airline is pretty big, so they have the structure, how to apply for a position. So they have to advertise it, and then you will apply for it as an AME. So airlines, they should keep you. However, back in the past, they used to just let apprentices go. They got I don't know, 4 years. One of the bigger airlines here, and they done their 4 years, and then they said, "Thanks, man."
Well, how does that? What's the logic in that?
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah, you invested 4 years in somebody, and
let's don't go there now. But it was this is terrible, and why? It is because young people who try to go through an apprenticeship, obviously I'm studying something, right? And when you can see how many employees the company's got, how come I don't get a spot? People are retiring. I'm coming through here, like let's say, just saying, or you had I don't know, 60 apprentices because 4 years, right? Because when you get to your 4, another 3, so like what, 60, right? I think.
Yeah.
60. So 60 new guys. Okay, the very new ones, they don't count. So in this year, when I get to that spot to apply for an AME, then I have other maybe 15 or 12, 15 people who want to get an AME job. But at least, okay, let's say you don't want to give job to 5, but at least give to 10 or 8 to 10 guys, but not like just to tell them to, sorry, we don't employ anyone, So you already know the system, you work for the company, you have all your passes, which are very difficult, security passes, this, that, yeah. You have access to emails.
You've vetted them for 4 years. You know what
Yeah.
type of worker they are. You know
Yeah.
if they're good or not.
Yeah. So, but anyways, that's that. But now it seems that the guy's getting AME positions. Yeah, so it's good. And then also once the AMEs, I think very short period of time. I don't want to see any months or years or whatever, but definitely short period of time they get a type course, which means it's a huge stepping stone straight onto the licensed aircraft engineer part, because then you can sign, and of course your salary.
You can use them as Cat A's.
I use them Cat A's as well. Yes, so there are different steps, anyways. Apprenticeships are really good, I think. And you have to take the most of it. So you have to be very proactive. That's the only way. What I can tell you, I had a few trips, like a few AOGs, aircraft breakdowns, in different states, and I flew with apprentices / AMEs, so they pretty much in the last year apprentices, and you could tell they sent them with me because their attitude was good. They switched on, they proactive, and that's why. So I'm sure there are others, but they just stay in a hangar. But these guys, some of them were shitty, structural, and honestly, they were really good with even the paperwork, and they knew everything. Where is the manual? Everything. So that's it, and that's why. So you always have to be proactive and willing.
What we say in our membership: stand out.
Yes, exactly.
Be different from the run of the mill people.
That's the only way. Just you don't have to bend over backwards, but do what you have to do, the bare minimum. That's you. Turn up. That's it. Turn up.
Try your best.
Yeah, and do your best. Be honest. Be respectful. And if you make a mistake, take responsibility. It's very important in this industry as well. So take responsibility for actions. And then if you're there and you have a good attitude, then you'll be proud. You'll be good. Yes.
That's a good place to end it, because it was a few wise words there from Alex, a seasoned licensed engineer. To any apprentices watching, anybody wanting to get in the business. And I want to say thank you very much for this. I'm just going to stop the recording now.